hope you're doing well. Today I am very excited to be reviewing The Likeness by Tana French. Now this is the second book in the Dublin Murder Squad series, but you don't need to run away if you haven't read the first book. Generally, if I was reviewing a series, I would say leave. But because the mystery in this book is completely unrelated to the mystery in the Woods, which I did previously review, and I'll link that up here, and I can actually review this without spoiling the first, which is really nice. So Cassie Maddox is a detective living, I think it's either in or right outside of Dublin. One morning she receives a call from a fellow officer who sounds very distraught, and he asks her to come to the scene of the crime, and when she arrives and sees the body, she realizes why. This young woman looks exactly like Cassie. So in order to figure out who killed this woman, Cassie is tasked with going undercover and integrating back into this woman's life. The woman who was killed is a PhD candidate living with, it was one female and two males. They were all students earning their PhDs in English literature. So this book surrounds a little bit of the buildup of her trying to figure out how she can integrate back into this woman's life, and of course the dynamics of this friend group in solving the crime. So as I said in my review of In the Woods, this series is such a refreshing take on the detective novel crime type series, at least from the ones I've read. And please recommend any crime or detective series that you actually think are well written and fantastic, but so many that are out there. Think of the kinds you see right the second you walk into Barnes & Noble, like those James Patterson style ones that feel like they could have just been written by anyone. They don't have a distinct voice. They're all just about the crime, and they're kind of just book candy with no substance, which is good for when you need it. But I love crime novels, and it's difficult for me to find ones that are actually written really well. And Tana French does have such a unique, beautiful voice. I know a lot of people say reading Harry Potter is comforting because of the style of her writing. That's how I feel about this series. I think one of the best aspects of this book was definitely the pacing. Like the build up for her learning how to act like the woman who was killed. Why am I forgetting her name? Lexi. When she's trying to figure out how to act like Lexi, dress like her, talk like her, just the build up before she steps into that house and has to pretend to be her with this woman's former friends was fantastic. And one thing I guess I should say with the pacing is if you are coming into this, and I think I said this with In the Woods as well, if you are coming into this series wanting one of those kind of like aforementioned James Patterson style novels that's just a lot of action with not a ton of substance and character development, although this is a crime novel series, they're definitely books about characters. So if you're looking for tons of action, this just isn't the series for you. There's definitely an emphasis on psychology in her books, and I never anticipate them affecting me as much as they definitely do. Because overall her books are always more so less about crime and more about the people surrounding the event. I have to admit I was a little nervous going into this only because my expectations were so high. Not just because I loved In the Woods and I gave it either 4.5 or 5 stars, which is a big deal for me, but because I had been told by so many other booktubers that this was even better than the first, and I thought that can't be possible, but I actually would agree. And I think I was very hopeful when I did hear that this was told from Cassie's point of view. I enjoyed her character a lot from the first book. Part of me did feel like she was a bit of a stereotype of just a hardened female cop, but I definitely don't think that anymore after reading this book. I absolutely adored her point of view and her view of the people. I especially loved her observations of other people, which might sound strange now, but if you read the book, you'll understand what I mean. So overall, I gave The Likeness by Tana French 5 out of 5 stars. I'm not sure how many books are in this series out right now. I think maybe 4, but I could be wrong. But I'm almost terrified. I actually don't want to ask you guys what you think about the rest of the books in the series, sorry, but I actually kind of don't want to know just because I don't want it to affect my opinion of the rest of the books. I'm going to try and steer clear of Goodreads and all of that. I don't even know if the narrator shifts again. Does it shift in every book? I don't even see how that would be possible. But overall, I highly recommend this series if you haven't checked it out yet, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.